Hello, and welcome to the session on coding and decoding. Hi, I'm Ravi, and my Twitter handle is @RaviHanda. You can use that not only to get in touch but also to provide feedback. So, today, what we are going to primarily talk about is letter coding, letter number coding, the mixed letter coding, and the mixed letter number coding. Well, these are just some fancy terms. If you know them, good. If you don't know them, even better. It is basically used to classify the coding decoding problems into 3 4 categories. What we'll do in this particular video session is that I'll take a few examples on all these categories and we'll try and solve them. I think that is the best way to understand coding and decoding. Another thing that I like to suggest if you are attempting coding decoding in an exam, if the idea, if the concept on which the code or the decode is built does not click to you in less than 30 seconds, I suggest you move on. Well, because more often than not, you will have a lot of questions and not that much time. So it is suggested that if you can solve it within 30 seconds or so, good enough. If you can figure out the logic within 30 seconds, good enough. Solving might take a little longer. But if you cannot figure out the logic within 30 seconds, I suggest you move on to the next question. Now, we have a few questions. I request you to pause the video, try the questions out, and then move on to see the solutions. Okay, so let's begin. First things first, you should be very comfortable with the series. That is A's, 1, B's, 2, C's, 3, and so on. This would help you immensely when you are trying to solve these letter and number coding problems. To begin with, let us look at a sample of letter coding problems. You can pause the video here. I will continue with the solution. Okay, so the solution is as such. First of all, I need to figure out the number code for monkey. Now, M I know is 13. How much is O? I'll have to keep referring back. So O is 15, N is 14, K is 11, E I can see from here is 5, and Y I know is 25. Very similarly, this XD thing, X is 24, D is 4, J is 10, M is 13, N is 14, and L is 12. Now, your task is to observe the pattern if you can in these two, which you should be able to do in less than 30 seconds. The pattern here is obvious that the number series is written in reverse with 1 reduced. 25 has become 24, 5 here has become 4 here, 11 has become 10. Oh, I think I made a mistake in monkey. N was 14. Okay, so this should be 14. So 14 has become 13, 15 has become 14, and 13 has become 12. Now your task is to find out the code for tiger. What is tiger? T is 20, I is 9, G is 7, E is 5, and R is 18. My answer is going to be the reverse of this. That is 18, 5, 7, 9, and 20. But wait, I have to reduce them by 1 also. So this will be 17, 4, 7 becomes 6, 9 becomes 8, and 20 becomes 19. And what are these? How much is 17? 17 is Q, 4 is D, 6 is F, 8 is H, and 19 is S. So this essentially is the code for tiger. That is what we were looking for. Very similarly, let us try and get the code for triple. T is 20, R is 18, I is 9, P is 15, T is again 15, element OP. Sorry, O is 15, P is 16, 16 again for P, L is 12, and E is 5. What is SQH? S is 19, Q is 17, H is 8, both O's are 15 each, K is 11, and D is 4. So as you can realize, you should be able to figure out the connection in this within or less than 30 seconds. What is the connection here? Everything is getting reduced by 1, very, very obvious. So that is what you need to do for dispose as well. And what is dispose? D is 4, I is 9, S is 20, P is 16, O is 15, S is 19 again. I'm sorry, made a mistake. S is 19 here. And E is 5. Guys, I'm prone to make these silly mistakes. So just in case there is some little mistake in the video, please forgive me, provide feedback. I'll mention it in the comments. So now, what will be the reduced format of this? Everything will get reduced by 1. 4 becomes 3, 9 becomes 8, 18, 16 becomes 15, 15 becomes 14, 19 becomes 18, and 5 becomes 4. And what does this translate to? This translates to C just before I is H, 18 is R, 16 has become 15. So this will be O. Then I have 14, which is N, 18, which is R, and 4, that is D. So the code that we were looking for dispose will be CHRONRD. Let us look at one more, a little more personal, I can say. Ravi is coded as AHABBI. Okay, so Ravi is 18, 1. How much is V? V is, I can see from here, 22. I again is 9. What is AHABBI? A is 1, H is 8, A is 1, B is B, B is B, and this is 9. As you can see the pattern here, all that has happened is that the 2-digit numbers have split into 2, and that is what you need to do. So for Handa, H is 8, 1, N. How much is N? N is 14, D is 4 and 1. So after the split, what will be the code? 811441. So after the coding, the result is going to be 811441. That is HAADDA, or HAADDA becomes your solution or your code for Handa. So this is essentially what letter coding is all about. What we did was, to solve these questions, we first converted them to numbers and then converted them to letters again. But my input was a letter and my output was also a letter. And that is why it is known as letter coding. Now let us look at something which is a little different from it. That is the letter number coding. Now what happens here? Did is 17. So what are D, I, and D? D is 4, I is 9, this is 4 again, which is somehow becoming 17. Very similarly, done. So D is 4. How much is O? O is 16. N is 14. Let me just check. O is 15 and N is 14. Okay. So I have O is 15, N is 14, and E is 5, which is becoming 38. So what is the pattern here? How come 494 is becoming 17? Well, it does not take rocket scientists to figure this out, that it is just a simple addition of the values. 4, 9 and 4 add up to 17, 15, 14 and 5 add up to 38. Very similarly, I'll need to do the calculation for bases. That is 2 plus 1 plus S. How much was S? PQRST. T is 20. That I remember. So this is 19. I is 9. And finally, S is 19 again. So what is my overall code? The sum of these values, 2 plus 1 is 3 and 19 is 22. 22 and 9 is 31. 31 and 19 gives me the value of 50. And that is my answer. I might have made a little bit of calculation mistake here and there. So just ignore that. I hope you understand the idea behind these things. Once again, let us look at what do we have in case of sharp. So S is 19, H is 8, A is 1, R is 18, and P, how much is P? P is 14. No, LMNOP, P is 16, which is becoming 58034. Whereas push is how much? So P is 16, U is 21, S is 19, and H is 8, which is becoming 4658. And I have to find out the encoding for rush. Now, the problem is that 19, 8, 1, 18, 16 is becoming 58034. I cannot observe a pattern here. Same thing is happening here. So let me try and do some other sort of mapping if I can. Let's say neglect this part. Okay. And also I neglect this part. Now can I observe a pattern? S is 5 and H is 8. Well, that is the same here. SH and 5, 8. Let me just bold it for you so that you can notice what I am talking about. SH, which exists in both of them, is 5, 8. What else do I need? So that means it is per letter or some letter is mapped to some particular number. I need the coding for, so for S and H I know. So the last two numbers are going to be 5 and 8. U is 6. So the second number is going to be 6. R I can get from here. Fourth letter here. Fourth number here. 3. So the encoding for rush which I was looking for is 3658. There was no conversion to the numbers which was required in this case. It was a direct mapping which was done. So you can never be sure. It could be based on the numbers. It could be direct mapping. The idea is letter to number is what you need to do here. Once again, getting a little personal. What do we have for Ravi? I just did Ravi here. Let me get this. So Ravi is 18, 1, 22, 9. Handa also I did here. That was 8, 1, 14, 4, 1. So I get that here. And I need to find it out for math. Well, but before that, what is the code? The code is 9149. For this one, the code is 81541. Do you realize the pattern here? Not very difficult to realize. It is just sum of the digits. 18 has become 9. 1 has remained 1. 22 has become 4. So single digit numbers are remaining the same, whereas two digit numbers are getting added up and their sum is being written. Not very difficult to do. Now all you need to do is just figure it out for maths. M is 13, A is 1, T is 20, H is 8 and S is 19. So how much will be the new code? 1, 3 will become 4, 1 will remain 1, 20 will become 2, 8 will remain 8, 19 is getting added up to be 10. So it depends on your options. If you had this as an option, that will be your answer. With this, we move on to the next type, that is the mixed letter coding. Now, what happens in mixed letter coding is you are given some words which are mapped to another set of words, and you have to figure out what is the answer or what is the correct mapping. As here, sit, no, kid is clouds pour down, no, bis, mit is down he goes, and stuff like that. How do you solve these questions? Look for common words. So in the first line and the second line, sit, no, kid and no, bis, mit. What is common? No is common here and here. So let me just cancel that part out so that it keeps your attention. Okay, so it is cancelled from both places. What will cancel from here? What is common to clouds pour down and down he goes? Well, what is common is down. So no is mapping to down. Let us try and figure out something else which is common. BSI is common to second and third statement. So let's cancel BSI from here. And here, what is common to these? Oh well, let me just cancel down also, so your choices go down. Now, BSI is common. Okay, NRO is also here. So down it goes from here also. Okay. Now, BSI is common in these two. Which one is that? He is common in these two. So good enough. So BSI essentially is the code for he. Now, our question is which word is goes? Let me cancel he also. So what is left for goes? Goes is here and goes is mit is here. That means that MIT is the translation for goes, and that is what you were looking for. So it is just simple matching and cancelling out. Let's take one more example so that it is clarified for you. Look at these statements. Ni muk pek. It's a little tricky, it's a little hard to pronounce, but you get the idea. What is common in the first and the second statement? Ni muk pek il dixo. I can't see anything common in these two. Let me try the second and the third one. What is common in the second and the third one? Il dixo termaxo. Okay. So is common. Let me just cancel that. So is cancelled from the two positions. In these, what is common? Body is common. Okay. So body is gone. Now that body is gone, so that means so was mapping to body. Let's try out another one. So is gone. Ni muk pik and tur muk pik. So mak is common in the two of them. Let's cancel that. Mak goes from the first and the third one. And is there in the first and the third one. So and also goes. So basically mak translates to and. Moving on, can I have something else which is common? Yeah, okay. Now I know the one for soul. Tur should translate to soul. Okay, so I got tur also and I got soul also. Now what am I left with? I'm left with every else and grave concern. So can I find out what is the answer for every concern? Well, I can't, because every and else, either of them could be ill or dick. Grave and concern, either of them could be knee or pick. So in the given status of questions, or in the given status of the question, my answer will be cannot be determined, because I do not have enough information for every and concern. However, if I had a few options, I might be able to figure out. Let's say my options were ill dick, knee muk, or knee pick. Another option was ill muck, and another option was dick knee. Now let's say in the question, if instead of without the options, these were the four options which were given to me. Ill dick cannot be the answer because it has to be every else or else every. Knee pick cannot be the answer because knee pick has to be grave concern or concern grave. Ill muck cannot be the answer because muck is and. So it could be every and or else and, because I am not sure about ill. That means by elimination, I would have been able to find out the answer as dick knee. So in these kind of questions, you need to be careful. You also need to look at the options. You can't blindly mark whatever comes your way. In some cases, you will be sure of the answer. In some cases, you will not be sure of the answer, and it would depend upon the options. Moving on to the next couple of problems, which is on number letter coding. Very similar to the mixed letter coding. Here you have numbers and words associated with them. Let's try that out. What is common? What is common? 5 here is common. So 5 goes from here and 5 goes from here. What is common to the first two statements? Books are old, man is old. Well, easy one. Old is common, which means that old essentially translates to 5. Let's look at if we find more things common. Okay, I can see a 3 here in the first statement and I can see a 3 in the last statement. What is common? Okay, books are common in the first and the third statement, which means books translates to 3. Now let's see if there is anything else that we can find. Well, 5 and 3 are gone, so whatever is left, 2 has to be R, and that's it. We were supposed to find out the value for R. Can we figure out what is buy? No. Can we figure out what is good? No. Can we figure out what is man? Is no. But we can figure out R. So, once again, as I was saying above, it depends on the question, it depends on the options. You might not have full information, but you might be able to find out the answer. One more question and then we'll wrap up this session. 975, throw away garbage. What is common? I can see that 5 is common in the first statement and the second statement. So let me just remove 5 and throw away garbage, give away garbage, or give away smoking. So away is common, which means that I get away as 5. What else do I have? 2 is common in the second statement and the third statement. So 2 goes from here. What is common? Smoking is common. So smoking goes. So 2 is smoking. Do I have anything else? Okay, only 8 is left and 8 becomes give. Okay guys, I think this one is solved as well. Very similar to the above question where you can find out what give is. You cannot find out all of them. And the answer for give is the number 8. So guys, with this, I'd like to wrap up this session on coding and decoding. I hope you are clear with the concepts. What I suggest to you once again is never take more than 30 seconds to figure out a pattern. If you are not able to figure it out in 30 seconds, it's better to try out other questions. If you find any interesting questions on this or you have any doubts on this, reach out to me via Twitter at my Twitter handle, which is @RaviHanda. You can also choose to email me on my mail ID, which is ravihanda@gmail.com. Thank you.